Alright, alright. I am going to do another VOD for Red Alert 3. And what I've been doing recently is actually I've done 3 VODs, but for other games. I did one for StarCraft 2, which I don't recommend watching. It was absolutely awful. Possibly the worst VOD I've ever done. And then my Kane's Wrath. I did 2 Kane's Wrath VODs. The first one wasn't too good, but the second one went okay, that's for sure. So, I'm here in Red Alert 3 again, doing some VODs. But, you know, it's hard to find replays. And this is what I want to talk about for just a little bit now. I don't want to drag this on for too long, but you guys, and you know who I'm talking about, stop posting brag replays. Honestly, it's completely ruined. Like, this is GameReplays.org. This isn't gain popularity for CommandandConquer.org. I mean, it's just, not only is posting these brag replays disrespectful for the players you've beaten, unless they agree, unless you ask them, like, hey, can I post this replay? And and I've done something a little guilty of that before, right? I posted a replay of myself against a LOL maker with one of my stupid tactics, and I ended up winning. I didn't really think of it much at the time. I didn't think anybody would really care. I didn't think it would ever gain any popularity. That was the only popular replay. But the point is, we need to get rid of these garbage replays. We need to start posting some actual good games, because there just isn't many of them around. And our whole entire replay system is over 50%. Maybe 3/4 of our replays are brag replays, bash replays, or just straight up insulting replays just to bash on the people you don't like. And rarely are any of these replays actually good. And sometimes these replays do end up being somewhat good. They're just not. It's just awful. All right, that's the point. So I was going to do a different VOD, but I didn't want to do it anymore. I felt I did a really bad job, and I don't feel I'm going to do a good job right now. I just don't feel it within me. It could end up really bad. I could end up redoing it. We'll see. If you're listening to this, that means I thought I did a good job. So this match will be between Ra3VOD and Fredfirestone, also known as Enemy 007 or Terry Bogard. One of these guys. Terry Bogard, I've known for quite a while. Maybe not like personally, but I have known him as a player for a long time. After all, he has beaten me like over 20 billion times. He is the only player that I really felt that could always beat me, no matter what. I just, I could feel like I can slip in and win against many other players, but I can't slip in that win against Terry Bogard. He just beats me every time. I just wasn't good enough to beat him. Where am I going here? Ah, there we go. Simply named, just as it should be. Nice SVS. Thank you, Terry. Thank you for this great replay. I can't wait to do a VOD. I did watch quite a bit of it. I didn't watch the ending. I wanted to save the ending as well, so I don't really so I don't kind of give it away. Anyways, both players, as you can see here, did go random. Isn't that interesting? So I guess I think this might have been a ranked match. I don't know. I can't really tell, but maybe it was. Pretty cool nonetheless. It is red versus blue right now. Interesting. Both players are clearly Soviets. So we have blue Soviets, and they are being played by Fredfirestone. And on the northern side of the map, we have Ra3VOD playing as the red Soviets. Now these guys, the red Soviets, because they're in the north, they're the real deal. Not to mention they are red. This is the Soviet Union right here. That's it. This is it. So I'm not really going anywhere with that. I thought I was, but I really wasn't. With the late barracks, well, actually no, he went for a crane build, so the barracks will guaranteed be kind of late. But of course, does the after death roar, which is going to stun that bear right in front of the barracks. And he's going to take it out with the next bear. Now he uses this bear and to stun the other one, which is very nice micro. Looks like Fredfirestone might not have been paying attention. Either that or the match was laggy, I don't know, but he did not roar when he could have. Now, it looks like Terry only built that barracks for scouting, which is an interesting choice. He didn't even go for the oil, which is cool, I guess. Now, Fredfirestone doing a little bit of a change-up rather than just a regular fast war factory build order. He went for a barracks mix-up as well, but that makes perfect sense, as both players did go random, and you can't just fast war factory every single match. Actually, the fast war factory can really backfire against whatever you're against. That makes this match even more interesting, is that Terry even went for a crane. He went for a crane in a random versus random matchup, which is very, very risky, as you don't get the good scouting. And he almost lost his ability to scout at the very start of the match. But luckily for him, he did manage to scout. Now the awesome thing about Terry's build here is that he has a crusher crane, right? He grinded his MCV. He has a lot of money. He also got his 2 refineries out even faster than Fredfirestone, so his economy is looking pretty good. And it's going to boom like this for a little bit now. But another thing is that he can actually use a Sputnik to expand rather than his MCV. However, the disadvantage is that he's not going to be able to do so well in the mid-game, as he's not going to be able to use any orbital drops because he doesn't have an MCV. And if I remember correctly, an orbital drop, like the number 2 one, you know, I never figured it out. I never remembered the names of the orbital drop levels. I mean, I know the allies, you know, like Cryogeddon, Cryoblast, Cryoshock, you know, stuff like that. So anyways, away from that, let's get back to the match here. We have Terry going in for a little bit of push here. He has a twin blade out, which is interesting because he does have an airfield, right? So I guess it doesn't really make it that interesting, but you know, whatever. So it looks like he's attempting the micro with the sickles, and Terry just dodges those sickles no problem with his amazing Terrordrawn micro right there. Really did a great job. Those sickles went down in a heartbeat. Now Terry using his great micro to save his hammer tank from being destroyed, and he's going to retreat with it, possibly use some leech beam to reheal it. But then again, he does have a crane, so he doesn't need to rely on the leech beam for everything. Terry infects the other hammer tank, loses his twin blade in the process. I don't think that was the greatest move. Might have been an accident. Either that or he just had a screen like this and maybe didn't see the bullfrogs, and then he's like, oh crap, there's just bullfrogs right there. Terrordrawn's just eating away at the tanks of Fredfirestone. Fredfirestone losing his early game pressure, and Terry's going to be using that to his advantage, and he goes for the expansion. Very interesting move. Terry isn't going to be using this build order just to keep on pressuring. He's also going to use it to expand. And that was a very key element to RTS, is when you expand while you're attacking. And while he did that push, he built that Sputnik, and that almost guaranteed the safety of it along the way there. I don't even think Fredfirestone even counted on Red Alert 3 to expand at all. He's probably just expecting Terry just to keep going all in, because that's what this build order kinda is, except you have it's like an all-in build order, but you have something to fall back on, and that's the crane. So if it doesn't work out, you can still kind of recover, and that's exactly what we're seeing from Terry. Normally you would like to sell the Sputnik, but in this map in particular, you can actually reach 2 refineries, so you won't be seeing the sell-off, although it would be really useful, but it will be more useful to have 2 refineries better than, 4 refineries better than just 3, which is good. But however, when he does build the next one, he can easily sell that. There we go. There you go. Just as I was going to say there. That was good. That was good. I should get some music playing here. I meant to do it earlier, but I forgot. This is going to be a complete King of Fighters soundtrack honoring our awesome Terry Bogard, Soviet player, and what, in my opinion, one of the best Soviet players that has ever played Red Alert 3. He's done very well. He did very well in Conquer Cup. He gave, I remember in one of the Conquer Cups, he had to play against Dastilon, and in the end I think they desynced. I think that's what happened. They desynced, and they had to do a rematch, and then Terry ended up beating Dastilon, I think. And, either that or Dastilon won the second match, and Terry had to do it. Yeah, I think that's what happened. Yeah, that's what was. Yeah, Terry was doing good, but then the desync ruined it. Thanks for the loot, Ray. Anyways, we have a little bit of a tank war here, and the Terrordrone surprise really is being surprisingly annoying. And looks like he is using the stun on the tank that's there. Well, looks like this tank's gonna have to be destroyed by one of his own comrades. A smart move to use the leech beam, as he does get the cannon. So both these tanks are dual cannons right now, meaning they kind of have the attack power of 2 hammer tanks, but on 1, which is which is a nice advantage to have for your hammer tanks. However, he does have a weakened hammer tank. I think he should do a leech beam, but that does require a little bit of attention there. And, you know, in the moment of the match, you don't think of everything. There is a lot of things you can miss in a match. It happens. Nobody plays perfect. People make mistakes. That's the way she goes. So Terry Bogard rebuilding his tank force isn't really using much of this barracks, but he's building something out of it. What could it be? It is an engineer. And what is he going to do with that engineer? Uh-oh. Is he going to do an engineer drop? That is awesome. What's he going to use the engineer drop? Maybe it's going to be a simple drop on the oil derrick. Or maybe he's going to try to capture the super reactor. The super reactor being force sold because of a engineer is absolutely brutal. But looks like Terry opts to go to capture the oil that Fred has, which is an interesting choice, as he doesn't get to refund his engineer right away. But that also prevents Fredfirestone from gaining his own income from that oil. So it's kind of an upside downside. However, if he holds it for a long time, I guess it'll just be a complete upside. But you can't go wrong with just capturing oils. Here comes another Twin Blade, who is shooting at the War Bears. You better watch out there. There's some bullfrogs heading right there. And we got some twins and frogs, which is a nice combination, as we all very much know. And it looks like he's going to go for the oil here, but there's a whole bunch of Twin Blades in the area. Not going to be a good choice to land this Twin Blade. Wait, does he even have it landed? No, he didn't have it. He only had one engineer in that. Or not. There was actually 2 engineers in that, which is awful. He just lost 2 engineers, and somehow his Twin Blade ended up escaping from MiGs. That was great. I mean, hey, it's better retreating with 1 Twin Blade than no Twin Blade at all. And he just has this massive tank force, and he's in desperate need of some bullfrogs to come by, and there they are. The bullfrogs are there, supporting the troops, making sure that these tanks can do their job. And it looks like he's going to escort this Twin Blade, which doesn't have anything in it anymore. And there's a little bit of an orbital drop. I don't really think that was the smartest idea. I think Fredfirestone is really trying to do his best to buy time here. He must be very worried. And that must be the only reason someone would have to do something like that. I know I do that with crowd shots. If I'm in panic, I will use it in front of my opponent's army just to push them back, as I can gain a little bit more forces to stand a chance. He is vastly outnumbered in this war, and his Twin Blades and Fredfirestone's Twin Blades cannot make up for that, as there is some bullfrogs right here. And it looks like he decides to take some of the bullfrog's weapons. You can see that one of the hammer tanks that did have the bullfrog weapon did go down. The MiGs are at war right now. Looks like all the bullfrogs are gone for Fredfirestone, but that's not gonna stop him from attempting to win this little fight here. Terry reinforcing with every tank he can. Look at the big production line of hammer tanks heading right to battle. And looks like he's gonna try to snipe that Terror drone with the Twin Blade. Very, very risky move. And the Twin Blade was successful, which is a very nice advantage. But is he gonna make use of that, as the Terror drone wasn't really doing anything other than keeping those tanks inside their range of range. Yeah, that's range. But looks like here comes the reinforcement tanks, and there's Terror drones eating away at tanks left and right. Fredfirestone somehow managed to stay on top of that fight. But Fredfirestone also has 4 refineries himself. And here we can see a naval yard of our Soviet player, which they're both Soviet players. You know, I mean, the red Soviet player being Terry Bogard. And ooh, that Twin Blade. That MiG was very close to being sniped off by that bullfrog, but it wasn't quite enough. He still has a little bit of health left. In fact, all these MiGs are kind of low on health, except for like 2. But you know, they're not in the healthiest position. They would lose a 4-on-4 with that kind of health. And it looks like he built another Sputnik from the naval yard, really trying to get that economy up and rolling, which is a very good move, I'd have to say. Focusing on winning the long run is a really nice idea. You gotta have a long-term plan. You can't just plan on winning the match right away and ending it then and there. If you do that, once you fail your attack, then you'll have nothing to fall back on. Not Terry, though. Terry is preparing for the late game. Imagine if Terry didn't go for these expansions and actually just just tried to go all in. He wouldn't have been successful. He would have been fended off. But well, maybe, because he did have to spend some money on building that, but he didn't have too much by the time for that. I don't know. Anyways, it's just good to have something to fall back on. It's good to have some sort of long-term plan. That way you don't just get overrun once and then you just kind of fall from there. Nice evacuation micro. I guess I'm not really sure if you call that micro, but I think that's some sort of name, micro. But you know, nice garrisoning on garrisoning, making sure you don't lose that garrison. I mean, it's just a conscript. I mean, it'd be cool if there was like a flak trooper, but it looks like he's gonna actually try to reinforce it with a Tesla trooper. Now remember, Terry Bogard does not have any abilities he can use in this match, and Fredfirestone does. In fact, let's take a look at both players' economies right now. Let's see who's spending and who isn't. Fredfirestone is about 2,000 credits ahead, still not buying anything right now. He does have 5 refineries, but so does Terry Bogard. And Terry has a little bit of money himself, and it looks like he's gonna have to. It looks like he's planning on buying something. But oh, what's this? Here comes the. Ooh, that is brutal. That orbital drop. You know, let's take a look at that name. I'm gonna take a look at that. What do you call that? Orbital dump. So there's the orbital drop, orbital dump, and orbital downpour. Okay. Over here we can see we have some twin blades and MiGs going to try to harass these collectors. He's got to put that collector in shield mode. There it is. A little bit late on that. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Can't expect somebody to be everywhere at once. And here comes the bullfrogs. Just not here in time. Not here, but looks like both collectors will survive, and the bullfrogs will successfully chase away these twin blades and MiGs, which is good stuff. And it looks like there's a MiG of his own chasing these. Ooh, he just lost that MiG really quick, but ooh, that was close. Almost lost the MiG to those bullfrogs, but a little bit of a blunder. No, not really blunder. Actually, no, it was just a small misclick. You know, typical stuff that you see from players. And oh man, a nice snipe with these terror drones, trying to catch these bullfrogs off guard. Very nice move. And he looks like he's smart, because he's not going to just infect them, because Terry could just run them over to the crusher crane, and then all the terror drone infecting would be for naught. Now Fredfirestone already one step ahead, building the Akula sub to fend off this other Akula sub. And here comes some twin blades just to finish off the other Akula. But the other Akula did manage to take out Fredfirestone's Akuna, which is Akuna. The heck? Akula. So Terry has once again a massive tank force, and he even has even more bullfrogs to back it up this time. And he's keeping the bullfrogs at the front. Fredfirestone could attempt to snipe it, and it looks like he will try to snipe them off. But that only makes Terry have the tank advantage even further. And I think Terry at this point in time would be pretty willing to lose a bullfrog just to get that advantage going. But this massive tank force looks like it could completely wipe out Fredfirestone. This is not looking good for Fred. And wow, looks like he just lost another bullfrog. He has one bullfrog left, and the bullfrog isn't at full health, but actually he's going to try to pick up that bullfrog with the twin blades, and looks like the twin blades are going to be successful. Here comes that bullfrog is down. Another interesting thing I should mention is that the garage is owned by Fredfirestone. All these tanks are going to be completely wiped out by all these twin blades. He's going to need a couple bullfrogs if he wants them to survive. Now he doesn't have any hammer bullfrogs, nothing combined like that. And here's the other bullfrog, but it's just standing still as it gets picked off by these twin blades. Oh, and here comes another bullfrog from the naval yard of Terry Bogard, backing it up. And here comes another bullfrog just to make it even tougher for Fred. Fred is really trying to keep on the pressure here, really trying to take out all these bullfrogs he possibly can, but it's just going to cost him more and more twin blades, and that is not a good trade-off. Looks like Terry did a nice maneuver there. He actually used the leech beam on his own bullfrog and got the weapon on his hammer tank. All that money is down the drain for Fredfirestone. How is he going to recover from that? He is in a very bad position as his massive tank force slowly hurls themselves towards him at tank speed, which isn't too fast, but it's still pretty good. Now, this is looking really bad for Fredfirestone. He's going to need maybe a couple Tesla troopers, as Terry doesn't really have too many anti-infantry units. A couple Tesla troopers wouldn't hurt. Maybe some flag troopers wouldn't be so bad either. Here comes a Tesla trooper, actually. But look at all the terror drones that Fredfirestone is building, which is a very smart idea, as Terry forgot to bring along his own terror drone. which pretty much the way to prevent Terradrone from affecting the unit, of course, is Terradrone. But some nice damage is being done by these, just a little bit of amount of forces from Fredfirestone. And looks like Terry did not force fire on that tank, thus the Terradrone did come back out of it. But here comes the Twin Blades, just to kind of say hello there, but there's a lot of Bullfrogs that are just gonna shut them up pretty quickly. So it looks like Fredfirestone's defenses are breached. He is being invaded by enemy Soviet forces. And looks like this super reactor is the target of the day. And looks like he's getting really desperate here. He's going to try to use an orbital drop of his own. Wait, no. This is the only orbital drops going on are his. And looks like the super reactor will be going down. Here comes the wow. That was the downpour. If he used the downpour on the crane of Ra3VODterryVsFredFirestone, that would have been a very hard position for Latvia. But then again, Latvia isn't really in a bad position at all, as, I mean, sure, he could lose the crane, but he could rebuild an MCV at this point in time, as he has the massive advantage on the ground. But these Tesla Troopers are doing a number on his tanks. Way to go, Fredfirestone, making the most out of little amounts of units. And it looks like the Bullfrogs were apart from the hammer tanks, which is not necessarily the position you really want to be in. And here comes the war factory is built. Here comes the war factory. Oh no! So here comes some more Tesla Trooper action here, and even these Bullfrogs just going in the water, chilling in the water, cooling off. They're having a heat stroke as these Twin Blades are on fire, and quite literally, as we can see, that one is burning. And this is an Apocalypse tank, very awesome. We got some tier 3, and you usually see tier 3 more often from Terry than his opponents. That's one thing I remember watching Terry often. He always liked to get that tier 3 pretty quickly, but we're not seeing that quite yet. But as Terry did see this tier 3, I imagine he's going to be thinking of some tier 3 of his own. But then again, he does have a lot of Twin Blades, and while his opponent has barely any Bullfrogs at all, but his opponent does have lots of MiGs. But Terry has plenty of Twin Blades, and you know what? Those Twin Blades are going to do a lot of damage once he sends them. But it looks like Terry does plan on concealing them for as long as he can. But here they come. This is 8 Twin Blades and 6 Bullfrogs, which is a nice deadly force. Sorry, it's like something's trying to come up from the chest. That's not good. All right. And it looks like the Bullfrogs are mysteriously away from the Twin Blades, and he just lost a couple Twin Blades. Some more missed micro from Terry Bogard, but not too bad, as he still has a couple Twin Blades left, which are still more than capable of doing some good amount of damage here. Fredfirestone's battle lab is in the water area, and looks like the whole entire navy of Fredfirestone will be going down, as there is a massive force of Twin Blades and Akula subs, which is going to completely devastate everything in the ocean. I guess this isn't really the ocean, is it? This is more like maybe it is the ocean. Look at all the, even Fredfirestone opting for the, oh my god, this is like, holy crap, Fred, what are you doing? This, lambs to the slaughter, why would you do that? Those Bullfrogs are like, extremely happy that they got those promotions, but man, that was so brutal, that was awful, I can't believe that happened. Oh, Fredfirestone, why would you, why? That's what you call a really discoordinated attack. He might have wanted to send his Bullfrogs, Twin Blades, and MiGs all at once, but then ends up... Actually, it looks like he used Q move. I think I think that's what happened. He's did the panic Q move, Q, and then clicked, and then all of his forces went, including his MiGs and his Twin Blades, and then I guess that might have not been what he had to do. And here's an Apocalypse tank shooting at the war factory of Terry, and Terry is retreating with all he has to take out these Apocalypse tanks, and it's not going to be... these Apocalypse tanks are not going to do too much damage. But this will buy time for Fredfirestone. Fredfirestone doesn't nearly have enough Bullfrogs to possibly fend off all the Twin Blades. And he's already, oh man, a nice little stunning from the Tesla Trooper of Fredfirestone. Not Fredfirestone, but Terry Bogard. My bad. The Apocalypse tank is heroic. This is a heroic Apocalypse tank, which is very deadly. However, there's not nearly enough Bullfrogs to stop these Twin Blades. Now, if he didn't lose all those MiGs, this little area, this situation here would be so much better. This situation would be so freaking much better. Man, he should get that Apocalypse tank over to that Tesla Trooper and shoot him up, because that is a heroic Tesla tank, Apocalypse tank. I keep making mistakes like that, my bad. And I keep saying my bad twice in a row, just to kind of even that up. And here comes some reinforcement twin blades to help that helpless little Apocalypse tank out, which is successful, but these Apocalypse tanks cannot fend off twin blades, not like Red Alert 2 Apocalypse tanks. Red Alert 2 Apocalypse tanks could shoot air, but Red Alert 3 Apocalypse tanks do not have that luxury. Terry should be focusing on the heroic Apocalypse tank, not the veteran. He's going to be letting the heroic one have his way with his base. Still not shooting at it. This one's just devastating everything in its path, and there they go down. That was devastating. Apocalypse tanks that are heroic are really devastating. This match is looking very bad for Fredfirestone. It looks like it could end at any moment. Fred does manage to get his super reactor back up and running, but he doesn't even have a MCV to even have that protocol advantage anymore. But look who does have the protocol advantage. We have Terry Bogard, who does have the protocol advantage. He does have his own MCV. I didn't even realize he got it, but looks like he did get it. And looks like Fredfirestone hasn't been spending as much money as he could, but that's understandable as he was in low power, and low power building does tend to slow down your production. Let's take a look at Terry. Terry is spending to the bone here, but that is because he's building lots of twin blades. There is so many twin blades from Terry, I don't know if there's any possible way that Fredfirestone can fend all of that off. There is 5 bullfrogs here, and there's and you know, even 4 MiGs. He is ready to take on those twin blades. He is really ready. I think the best thing he could possibly try to do is possibly try to infect all these bullfrogs and then try to take all the twin blades out with MiGs. That would be his best bet. And it looks like Terry did lose a twin blade there. Oh, and here comes some MiGs to pick off what they can, but all the bullfrogs of Terry Bogard are not around the twin blades. Oh my god, Terry, oh no! This is not good. He's going to lose all these twin blades, and he's not going to do any damage. He's going to sacrifice them. Oh my god, these twin blades are... And I thought Fredfirestone had this bad situation. Terry just lost his entire force of twin blades all at once as his bullfrogs were completely out of formation. Oh my god, that is so much money down the drain. Holy crap, all these bullfrogs here might as well be grinded in the crusher crane. That air of Terry is gone. These bullfrogs are useless now. Holy crap, that was awful. That was not awful as in, like, you know, awful is almost in every way possible, but that was, oh my god, that was brutal. That was so brutal. Man, I've never seen something so... Oh, that was possibly, like, the worst thing ever. Man, I would have been like, GG. I'm just gonna lose because oh my god, that was bad. Oh man, that just leveled the playing field almost. I should say, because clearly Fredfirestone is out economied here, and he lost all of his tech structures. I don't think he will be able to come back. Either way, Terry is spending what he can. He's going for a double barracks. Who knows what he's going to go for from there on. Fredfirestone has absolutely no money right now, and the ore mines here are depleted except for this one, but it's almost done. And it looks like they both have mass production. Looks like Fredfirestone does exit, even though he did take out that giant force of twin blades. That wasn't going to be enough to stop the advantage and the approaching armies of Terry Bogard. That was so brutal. Those twin blades, oh my god, you can see that spike drop dramatically. That was, oh man. That was awful. Oh man. I mean, Terry had the match won, but damn, that was so brutal. Fredfirestone really went overboard on the bullfrogs, though. I don't think he counted on being able to take out all those twin blades the way he did. I don't think he did at all, but you know. So even with the MCV sold, Terry did manage to stay ahead in resources for the most part until this point in time, as we see around the 17-minute mark. They did get pretty even in economy. Fredfirestone did do quite a bit of harassment, and so did Terry. Eventually, Terry did break down that naval. Terry did break through the naval expansion of Fredfirestone, which held all of his tech except for his super reactor. So, you know, Fredfirestone opened up with that fast war factory opening, but couldn't get that pressure right away, as Terry did manage to hold on for what it was worth. And you can see that. Look how almost looks like a little insignificance that MCV cell was, but it actually was more than what it looks like here. This match was like about a 20-minute long match. I guess I should wrap this up quickly before like my computer like overloads and be like, not enough hard drive space, dude. And then it's gonna take like you know, it probably will take about an hour to record this, and not record but save it. But man, that twin blade loss, that was completely brutal. Possibly the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in a long time. A lot of pilots have died. It was kind of like watching Zyana from the Soviet faction. You know, the AI with all the twin blades. Yeah, except maybe with just a little bit less retreat. But you know, the 4. I don't think. You know, another thing though. I think Terry did not count on Fred having those 4 MiGs anymore. But that might have been because he wasn't scouting. He didn't see those 4 MiGs, so he didn't. He thought maybe, you know, I'll just flank around with my twin blades. What's the big deal? And then oops, here comes some MiGs, and then bam, those twin blades are out of there. And then all the bullfrogs. What was up with all the bullfrogs heading in the complete opposite direction? I guess he just kind of let those twin blades die. Those twin blades were there, and he didn't. He's like, I'll let you guys keep dying. Like wherever those twin blades turned, there was just more anti-air. I feel really bad for those twin blades, but he did pull off the win. That was a pretty good match. It was pretty back and forth. Fredfirestone did his best to fend off what he could. Then Fredfirestone did push in with those Apocalypse tanks, but didn't have the anti-air he needed to prevent that disaster. You know what? You know, Fred would have had such a better attack if he didn't Q move. Fred, stop using that Q. Forget the Q. Get rid of it. Learn to play without it. In fact, you should just remove the key from your keyboard, rip that out, stop using it. Otherwise, you're just gonna have your MiGs flying into a swarm of bullfrogs, and then your opponent's gonna sweep in when you're doing your little apocalypse push with all of his twin blades, and you're not gonna have any anti-air anymore. It's gonna be gone. That attack would have been so much better if he had those MiGs. So, you know, many things led up to Fredfirestone's defeat. Terry, with that massive twin blade force completely obliterated, did not phase that for sure victory. And you know, it was a pretty good match. Both players played pretty darn well. Fredfirestone seemed to be keeping up with Terry as much as he could. I mean, no, not as much as he could. He was keeping up with Terry. He really was. A little bit unorthodox to go for the MiGs. No, MiGs are not unorthodox. Derp. Brain. It's like a brain fart right now. I'm gonna end this before I feel even more foolish. Alright. Good play by both players. Good old Crane. You know, ever since I seen Terry start using Crane, like in the Conquer Cup, I started using it myself in Soviet vs. Soviet. I don't really play Soviets, but I can play Soviets vs. Soviets okay. And when I do now, I do use that Crane build. But then again, you know, both players were random and ended up as Soviets. So, you know, both players did go, you know, Fredfirestone took the safe route. He took the safe route, built the barracks, scouted what he needed to scout, and then he went for the fast war factory, but he did not count on Terry being able to keep up with that right away. And I think the main reason Terry was especially able to keep up with that is because of the barracks that Fredfirestone had built. So, yeah, that's all for now. See you guys next time. Thank you, Terry, for the good replay. It's about darn time you people stop posting brag replays and hate replays and spite replays and all that crap. Start posting some good games. I know they're out there. I've seen them before. So, yep. Goodbye for the last time. See y'all some other VOD. Bye-bye.